During the course of life, we will write many words, but of course, not all of them carry the same weight. A shopping list hastily scribbled on a scrap of paper and stuffed in your back pocket doesn't really measure up to yesterday's diary entry, for example. But what are the most important words that you will ever write? I want to talk today very briefly about what I believe are the most important 500 words that you will ever write. Now, if you're still breathing, which I'm assuming you are as you listen to this podcast, the most important 500 words that you will ever write are the next 500. Now, with that mindset, you will always be ready to sit down and make sure that those words, which are the most important that you will ever write, are delivered to the page. And it's way too easy to rest on the laurels of yesterday's activities, yesterday's wins, yesterday's projects, yesterday's words, or dream of some misty, far-off day in the future when your bestseller will finally hit the shelves. But neither of those mindsets really leads us to where we need to go. Many people have something off in the future, or one day I will do this. Others kind of sit looking back. Oh yes, back in the day when I was a youngster or whatever, I did this or I accomplished that. But it's really what we do today, right now, that is going to make the real difference to our tomorrows. And regardless of the foundation upon which you're building. It may be that you've written many, many books. It may be that you've impacted hundreds, thousands, even millions of lives. But who's to say that there's still not something there in the can ready to come out and spill onto the page that is going to have an even deeper impact than you've had already? And we will never know. You never know what's on the inside until you uncork and allow it to come out and allow it to flow. Your value and the contribution that you have got to give did not dry up the instant you wrote the end on your last project. Nor will it ever be realized if all of that treasure that you've got to bring to the table stays locked up inside until some far off tomorrow that ultimately never comes. Whether it's writing a book, whether it's creating a course, whatever creative project you're involved in, a new musical kind of album that you want to bring out, a new message that you want to express, a new videos that you want to make, or whatever it may be, whatever form it may take, there's always the danger that we get caught staring at, and I'll use words as a picture, but this could be easily applied to any creative project that you might be involved in. You get caught in the trap of staring at a 100,000 word mountain in your mind, and because of that, you feel intimidated and never take your first step. But the same with any project. It may be that you've got something in your heart that you want to create an online course, but you're looking and you're thinking, wow, there's so many different parts to this. There's so many hours of work that I will have to put in to create it. And instead of seeing it in small bite-sized chunks, you're looking at the whole and you're freaking out and the sizable nature of it. All of the things that are involved just back you off and you never take the first step. But however big the hill may seem, however large it looms, it can be scaled down to one small 500-word step at a time. And that's why I love this picture of the next 500 words are the most important you will ever write, because you can do that. You can do that. The most important video that you will ever make is the next 5-minute video that you create for your course or your channel or whatever avenue you are putting your value out to the world into. That's why the only words or the only actions that you need to necessarily be concerned with right now, yeah, the only ones that really matter is the next one, the next step, the next action. As soon as you are as soon as those words are on the page, the baton is passed to the next 500 and the next 500 and so on. And if you can begin to build those creative streaks into your habits, into your schedule, and it becomes that creative expression and that creative action becomes a habit that you no longer need to discipline yourself into, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish and accomplish in a much shorter time than you initially thought possible. Now, hundreds of books can be written this way, thousands of mountains conquered, and a legacy body of work that can be left to impact generations to come that would otherwise have gone to the grave with the dreamer who never took that first step. If you believe you've got a book in your heart that cries to be written, and as I say, it may be that you want to form your value, crystallize your value in other ways. You just transpose what I'm saying away from a book to a course or to a song or whatever it may be. But start pouring it on the page today. Sometimes those 500 words may just be a warm-up for the real thing. In reality, those next most important words you will ever write may be actually not that good. But all of those not that good words that you put down, all of those not quite perfect videos that you shoot, all of those like almost there ideas that you seek to realize, all of them are steps toward that moment, that time, that expression that bubbles up from your heart and really just hits the mark. I often say to people, you just got to keep shooting the arrows. We may miss a few. Some of them may not quite hit the target, but if we shoot long enough and we shoot often enough, we get closer and closer with every shot. You'll be surprised sometimes as you just discipline yourself into these creative habits, what comes up from the inside. There'll be times where you write things down or you say things or sing things, and you will be the most surprised of anyone at what is coming forth. You'll be like, wow, this is amazing. And as we do that, as we let both the good, the bad, and the indifferent flow onto the page, we just make a decision in our heart that I'm not going to wait until everything is perfect. I'm not going to criticize myself so harshly every time I sit down at the keyboard or with my instrument. Every time I face the camera and speak to it, I'm not going to beat myself up because I don't look like whoever is the big looker at the moment, because I'm not this person or that person, or I don't do it as well as them. No, we are who we are. You are who you are. And as you exercise yourself in this way, you'll learn how to better tap that flow from the inside. And as you prime the pump with persistence and daily discipline, put yourself in a position where you're going to put at least 500 words down each day, even if they are just the ramblings of a tired mind. With every stroke of the pen or key, you will feel your creative muscles building. You'll feel the changes taking place in the way you approach your creative work. Now, soon you'll be looking forward to the adventure of discovering what the next most important words you've ever written are going to be. You'll sit down with an expectation and a curiosity as to what the Holy Ghost is going to do together with you on this particular day. And it becomes then, instead of something that is a huge, looming, challenging project, it becomes more of a daily walk with God, a daily walk with the Creator, and an adventure that you are privileged to be a part of. Not only will you discover who you are and learn to hear your voice in the midst of all of the noise around you, but your voice will become clearer and clearer and sharper, so it penetrates the hearts of your hearers and helps to unlock what God has placed in them. So I encourage you, what are the most important 500 words that you will ever write? The next 500. What's the most important song you will ever sing? The next one that you sing. The most important video that you'll make? It's the one that you are about to shoot today. You know, what's the most important, impacting podcast you'll ever create? It's the one that you do next. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Hopefully it was a blessing to you. If it was, do please consider leaving a rating and a review on whatever platform you are listening on. I also would love to encourage you to check out my new book, Faithful Creative. We've got a package of resources designed specifically to encourage you in your Christian creative call. You can check that out at faithfulcreativebook.com. And if you choose to pick it up, use the promo code podcast for 50% off. So you'll get it for half price. Have a great rest of your day and God bless. Jesus first, everything else follows.